All right, we are live. Hello and welcome to the first episode of the brand new and revived version of Ballhawk Talk. The first, and as I know it, only Ballhawk themed podcast, where if there's ball hawking, we're talking. Ladies and gentlemen, and all others who find themselves here, you're in for a treat. We'll get to the introductions in a bit, but before we start, what exactly goes on here? Here at Ballhawk Talk, we talk about only the latest and hottest Ballhawk news, as well as share fun stories of adventures and stats during our time as Hawks. We'll even have the occasional guests who share the same passion for baseball sport within the sport. Now that our show's summary is out of the way, you're probably wondering who this goofy guy is who claims to be your host. Well, for those who don't already know who I am, my name is Aiden. I'm 16 years old, and I've been a ball hawk for the last 3 years in the depths of the minor leagues. My lifetime total at this very moment is 214, and a goofy fact about me is that I refuse to count any other balls from any other leagues besides minor leagues, including Major League. So earlier I mentioned that we'll have the occasional guest, and it just so happens that we have three amazing people right here. And up top in the left here, we have basically my non-genetic brother, Tony Voda. And in the top right there, we have two fellow Philly fanatics, and Wisconsin cheeseheads, the Sorgies. Jay's on your left, Anthony's on your right.
What is up?
If you don't mind, introduce yourselves. Tell us a little about yourselves if you don't already know. Whoever wants to start.
Go first, Tony.
All right. I am Tony, a.k.a. Baseball Road Tripper here on YouTube, and I've been ball hawking since got my first ball in 2009 and then kind of started for real in 2012. And over 1,800 balls to my name. I just actually am the opposite of you, count the major league ones, been to all 30 stadiums plus a few more, and just love doing really weird stuff when it comes to baseball stadiums.
I feel that. All right, Jay, Anthony, what about you two?
Well, I'm Anthony, 13, from Wisconsin, living in the beautiful state of Pennsylvania, specifically Philadelphia. We're Brewers fans, and yeah, I'm a big baseball fan. Lifetime total is probably in the teens of balls that I've collected.
No problem with that at all.
At minor and major league games over the years. And yeah.
I'm Dad. I'm Jay. I am 4 years old. We are here inside the palatial Sorgi estate here in Philadelphia. Moved here a couple of years ago, but previously lived in Wisconsin for 21 years. Or I'd say I lived my whole life there. I worked in Wisconsin for about 22 years. I worked out there in our hometown of Milwaukee. You got the baseball bug when you were a year and a half.
Yeah, and
when did you get the ball hawking bug?
Somewhere in my early days of watching YouTube. And before that, before getting into ball hawking, I said I wanted to be the commissioner of baseball, and I'm back on it after Rob Manfred's extension. Please DM anything you can do to the MLB because we're kicking Rob Manfred out. And Tony, to answer your question you put in our comment section, yes, you can have a job in the MLB offices.
But what we really do, even more than ball hawking, is stadium hawk. Our boy Baseball Road Tripper's been to all 30 major league stadiums. We're trying to do all 30 stadiums with the Brewers, our first team. 16 down, 14 to go. We are Phillies fans 156 games a year.
Yes.
So we're totally with you most of the time, Aiden. And ball hockey became part of our shared love of baseball.
Yes.
And we have some stories in a lot of different ways when it comes to that.
Yeah. So that's us.
Awesome. All right. So considering this is our first episode of this podcast, I figured what better topic to start off with thing, how we actually got into everything, how we got into baseball, how we got into ball hawking. I know the sorry, just mentioned their story. Tony, what about you? How'd you get into everything?
Started baseball, started playing it when I was 5 years old in kindergarten. Joined the first grader team because I technically wasn't old enough, but with the name Tony, I got the nickname Tiny, and the rest is history. Played baseball through high school, hurt my shoulder actually playing hockey, so my playing days were done.
Been there.
And after that, I just really wanted to get a baseball. Always wanted one when I was younger, but never really knew how. Didn't know that it was as easy as it was. And didn't get on the board until I was 25, and that was back in 2009. So you do the math how old I am. But yeah, ever since then, I thought that just getting one was going to be enough, and then I would kind of go home happy with my souvenir. But yeah, 1,800 more, and it's still not done.
I hear you there. My story is kind of similar. I won't get too emotional with this or too in-depth, but 13 years old, 2020. I lose my grandma around Christmas time. No biggie. Back then it was kind of a biggie because I was looking for something to kind of distract myself from everything going on, and magically found someone named Zach Campbell on YouTube in my recommended section. Watched his video, and the rest is history. Started ball hawking that year and been doing it ever since.
I think we blame Zach in some ways for you too, by far.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
It's been an adventure for sure.
I got into the Zach thing back when he was writing his blog.
Yeah.
So got into that and kind of saw it firsthand right before the evolution of the YouTube thing, and kind of befriended him, befriended the community, and it's cool to see the next generation in both Aiden and Anthony. I think we're in good position, especially if one of you becomes commissioner, right, Anthony?
Yeah, I totally support that. I'm all for it, and I'll explain in a little bit my thoughts on that. But for now, before we started recording, I asked you guys, the viewers, if you guys can send in some questions for us to answer. So we have some here, and Sorgies, Tony, feel free to answer as well. First question: when did you catch your first ball at a game? For me, I think it was 2018, fourth grade. We had my school sung the national anthem at a Rail Riders game, and it started to rain in the 7th inning, so we left early. And upon leaving, lo and behold, 2 foul balls outside, including this one right here. And it kind of sat in a closet for a good 3 years up until that 2021 season. And yeah.
Do you remember yours?
I don't think I do. I can remember some early ones, but go ahead.
I think I actually do. It was in 2013. Yes, Baseball Road Tripper. Yes, Tony. It was Brewers Twins at Miller Park. We were given some field passes from the radio station that I used to work with back in Milwaukee. They're the Brewers flagship station, WTMJ.
I don't remember any of this either.
Okay. Yeah, you were like 3.5. You were 3.5 that year. And we were on the field during Twins batting practice, and a Twins coach rolled you a ball.
Oh, that's nice. I did not know that.
Yep. like I said, the Brewers Twins rivalry is not a rivalry of hatred. It's a rivalry of fun, Midwest nice, just competitive, but no ill will.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
It's like
Agreed.
It's all love. We're all a big family.
Boom. Boom. And that was, I think, your first one. But do you remember the first one that you actually remember?
Okay, so I think I'm thinking of maybe off the top of my head, the first one I can remember is actually only last year. I can't remember actually catching one previous to that. Hobie Milner tossed it up to me in Philly at the bank in the right field stands.
Yep, when Milwaukee played Philadelphia in April of last year.
Yeah.
Beats me. I can't remember like the stuff about it, like who hit it, what inning it was. That was way before I started taking notes of everything.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so
I can't even remember what I had for dinner like a week ago. So I hear you there, Jay. And then Tony, you said you snagged your first in 2009, right?
Yes, April 15th, 2009 at the Metrodome. It was the Metrodome's final year, and I needed to get it out of my system, especially with the Metrodome going. I thought that was kind of a fitting send-off. And the Twins were playing the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays back then had Edwin Encarnacion, and he liked to slug. They had a bunch of sluggers and ended up with one of those in BP. And then I can also remember, Anthony, our first shared game where we both got balls. That was last August 28th. And that was in the state of Maryland.
Well, one state to the east.
Or sorry, Delaware.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
Delmarva, as they call it.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun because you also got something pretty special that game too.
Lineup card. It is sitting in my office. It is sitting in my office in my kind of background there.
That's something I need to work on getting. I don't know how Aaron and Yost do it. If you guys are watching, you guys got to teach me the ways, but I definitely want to start going for lineup cards.
Now,
All right.
I quickly should ask Tony a question from your first ball. April 15th, 2009. That was tax day. Do you put the balls that you gather at games on your taxes?
Luckily, I think that was in the 2009 tax year, so I didn't have to revise my taxes that I sent in.
Plus, I think you're also past the statute of limitations.
Ooh, good point.
All right. What do we got next here? What was the most impressive catch you've made at a game? All right, so mine was fairly recently. I know the three of you guys know what it was. The grand slam catch on the fly. We've got that ball right here. It's kind of hard to see. But for those who don't already know, what are you doing? You should follow my Instagram for more on that. But bottom of the fifth. I think it was bottom of the fifth, right? I'd have to check. Bottom of the fifth, we'll say. Andre Chaparro steps up to the plate with the bases loaded. I think it was 1-1 Rail Riders against the Bisons. And launches one my direction. Saw it all the way. Didn't even know that it was gonna make it out at first, but saw it all the way. Caught it on the fly. So, what about you guys?
I defer to you, Tony, because I think yours will be a lot more spectacular than ours.
Okay.
You have a much larger sample size.
All right, I think my personal best was using a catcher's mitt during a game to catch a player's first ever career home run, and that was also my first ever home run catch. And that was August 5th, 2014. Kenys Vargas, who now plays in Mexico. It was just meant to be because earlier in the day, waiting at the gates with some of my buddies there that are in some of my videos, I was talking to Dave specifically and just told him before the game, I'm like, I have a feeling tonight. What would we do if we caught Kenys Vargas's first home run? What would we ask for? And we had these grand ideas. Then during the game, a couple innings in, I posted something beneath the flag court, just a view of the flagpole, saying something about waiting for a home run here, which I don't really ever post like that on Instagram, but it came to be. It was real life, and that's one of those balls was the replacement balls that he autographed, and then the bat behind me is the bat that he gave me for that ball. How about you, Anthony?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I have one in Baltimore. I could not tell you exactly how I got it in the exact form, but I remember it being.
I remember my bottle of water helped deflect it to you.
That was the part. So I think that would be it. I think that's probably what I'd say.
The best memory I have of you in terms of a ball happening during game action. It wasn't like a home run ball or anything like that, but that sort of showed you here's how it's done. Was at Miller Park. It was against Toronto. I want to say you were like 4-ish, maybe 5-ish.
Yeah.
He was polite enough to, number one, make sure to ask me the name of the bullpen coach of the Blue Jays.
I was only 5. This was
okay.
I want to say this was 2017.
Oh, so you were like 7 years old.
Yeah, I was like 7.
And he was, and he said, "Mister," I forget what his name was.
Yeah, same.
But could you please toss the ball up? Could you please toss it up? And it was like, boom.
That's so cool.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
I love that. That's awesome.
And from a special game, how about that no hitter? You got one in BP for that?
Yeah, I don't really. Okay, so it was just we were walking on the streets of Cleveland and a big mob of Brewers fans, celebrating, and some dude's like, "Hey kid, here's a batting practice ball." So yeah, I have that somewhere upstairs.
Nice.
I'm taking a guess your goal is to get Corbin Burns to sign the thing.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Corbin Burns or Josh Hader. I do have a couple of Josh Hader autographs, but I don't have it signed on that ball.
That's another thing I'm not too keen on is autographs. I'm not a big fan of autographs. Like, the only real autographs I go for if it's a milestone ball, like my 100th ball I have in my bedroom there, signed. I forget who threw it, but signed by him. I still have yet to get Andres to sign the Grand Slam, which happens to be my 200th. So we'll get that done, but I don't have a lot of autographs. All right, what do we have next here? What was your favorite catch you've made at a game? So I kind of just described mine, the Grand Slam. Obviously, I don't think any catch is gonna top that, but there have been lots of favorites over the years, actually.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of who has given me a ball over time that I'm a big fan of.
I mean, there have been Brewer players who've done that.
Yeah.
I think one from Kutch, I want to say.
Oh, that's cool.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't from Kutch.
Okay.
Or was it? It might have been because there was some dude from Pittsburgh who told the Brewers players not to give me a ball because I had already gotten one, and he was telling, and the dude was about to toss it to me, and instead he tossed it to somebody else because the dude was like, and he was drunk, by the way. He told us he was drunk. He's talking to us, and he's just yelling Andrew McCutcheon's name the entire batting practice, and then he tells them that I already have a ball, not to give one to me. If it was Kutch, then I would say that's the coolest. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever gotten one from Hader or Williams or any of the best Brewers.
But maybe because of the story, even if it wasn't Kutch, it's probably the best story you've had.
That'd be high on my list. Just the interaction.
Yep.
And then probably the no-hitter batting practice ball.
By far.
Yeah.
I would put that thing in a case and take it to college with me. Take it everywhere.
For me, I would probably say it's a series of balls. I got to go to the 2014 All-Star game because that was here in Minnesota, and ended up getting a Futures ball, a Home Run Derby ball, the Gold Home Run Derby ball, the All-Star game ball, and then one of these celebrity softball baseballs. So I got all 5 of the balls used
That's cool.
during the whole ceremonies, and that I still can't believe it.
All right. Besides your home ballpark of PNC Field, what was your favorite stadium to catch a ball at? This one's easy. First Energy Field, Reading, PA, and I'm sure the Sorgies remember this. April 10th, 2022, Zach Hampel comes to Reading. That was my first time meeting him. Didn't think anything of it at the time. Snagged 5 balls, including an Anthony Volpe foul ball. And after that, a Jonathan Guzman, I think that's his name, home run ball during the game.
Wow.
That was fun.
I want to say we captured a slow-mo of that home run in the vid that we were lucky enough to do that day.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. Did I catch one at PNC? If I have, then it would be actually. I think I still got to say, other than Miller Park, obviously would be my favorite. But behind that, the bank, and then
Target Field.
PNC Park, and then Camden Yards. If I don't know if I got one at PNC, if I didn't, Camden Yards.
You got a load of autographs at Target Field, but not.
I was gonna say that's my favorite baseball I have in general. I have Woodruff and Burns autographs on a ball with a whole bunch of other
Burns.
Hernan Perez, whole bunch of other guys.
I don't want to hijack this thing and turn it into autographs in terms of versus ball hawking, but you've also got a pretty legendary guy in your collection.
Yes, I have Hank Aaron.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, and did I say Woodruff and Burns? Because it's actually Woodruff and Hader. That's my bad. But yeah, I do have a Hank Aaron signed baseball that is in a secret location.
Yes.
And I would say it's not a baseball, but my other autograph that I adore dearly is my LeBron James autographed hat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Enough hijacking of the subject. Go
It's okay. It's okay.
Podcast
is for everything.
Outside of Target Field, I'll probably go with recency bias, but Mexico City, just because it's unique. It was commemorative. It was just a total experience with a lot of friends and stuff, and it was just the whole story around it. It was nice to cross off the list.
You also carried that trip.
Yes.
For those who don't know, and I forgot to mention earlier, Tony's YouTube channel and Instagram, Baseball Road Tripper, Sorgy Stories. Go subscribe, go follow. Quality content. Much better than mine.
Yours getting better. You're definitely getting better. You're growing.
Mm-hmm.
You're growing.
We're trying to get there. Road to 100.
Nice.
Aaron's at road to 3K, I think. Road to 100 for me. We'll get there.
Yes.
Boom.
I definitely have to agree with Anthony. PNC being on the top of my list, one of them. Definitely a fun time there. And I'm sure Camden will definitely be up there too. I'm going there on Sunday. So
nice.
We'll put that one up there.
Nice. Make sure you get the Baltimore pit beef sandwich if you're a meat eater.
Is that out at Boogs?
Yes. Spectacular.
We got to have some Boogs. All right. Do you have a favorite team? Me personally, no. I know I have a Lehigh Valley Iron Pig shirt on, and you guys always see me at PNC Field, but I do not have a favorite team. Favorite Major League team? Ring the bell, baby. Phillies all the way. Ring the bell. And then you two, I already know, but the viewers probably don't know.
Let's see. We sort of expressed ours with Brewers 162 games a year, the Phils 156, unless there's some sort of pennant race going on where they're head-to-head like it was last year.
Yeah, I'm rocking the Christian Yelich 4th of July jersey right now.
And we all know. Sorry.
I was also going to say, we don't ring the bell. We smash the bell. We're talking about the fighting, said Phillies, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, great team.
And any guess possible about that guy over there sitting in the Twin Cities?
It's weird because I always tell people that I love baseball first and foremost. So having an ultimate favorite team, I don't know that I have one that I'm diehard about, but because of proximity, because of how much I get to see them, Twins over the rest of the league by about this much, and then Yankees are probably this much lower than the rest of the league. So it all kind of evens out in the wash.
Makes sense.
How about for the Sorgies, who's your American League team?
Okay, this is I have a kind of, I like their teams. I don't know if I have a favorite. For family reasons, I would say the Yankees are a candidate.
And I'll explain.
But the Orioles are growing on me. We went to one of their games earlier this year in Baltimore against the Blue Jays, and Camden Yards has just such a great vibe to it. But the Rays, I'm trying to think of other teams. Obviously,
Astros really hard.
Those are
Yeah.
they disgust me. But I mean, obviously, I want to see Shohei Ohtani do well, so I'm always hoping that the Angels win. Because it's always good for baseball. But yeah, I think I'd say the Yankees/Orioles.
Okay. That reason for the Yankees has to do with the fact that before the Milwaukee Braves showed up back in our hometown, my grandmother worked for Gimbel's as the entire department store chain's head buyer. And they were located in Milwaukee, here in Philadelphia, New York, Pittsburgh. She would always go to New York regularly on business. And she would bring her husband, my grandfather. They would go check out the Yankees. And full-blooded Italians, you're talking like Joe DiMaggio, Tony Lazzari, Phil Rizzuto, Billy Martin, full-blooded Italian, on down the line throughout the entire history of like that 20s through 50s era of the Yankees. So before she entered a nursing home, one of the last conversations I had with her before she entered the nursing home was her talking about the Yankees and these stories. And so, instant American League fan, they had me. Sort of dwindled a little bit. I'd say now I'm with you with the Orioles. I want to root for teams that haven't won the thing in a ridiculously long time. That's empathy because our Brewers haven't either. But the other thing, right, at least temporarily, is that I'm not a fan of the owner by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm a fan of the team and the fans of the Oakland A's.
Yes, I would agree with that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Sell the team, Fisher. Sell the team.
Go A's.
Whoa.
That's why you need to make me MLB commissioner, is because I will force Sean Fisher to sell the team.
Not sure you can even legally do that. But
well, in the NFL, there's like some system you can do it. I don't know about the MLB.
Yeah.
Definitely have to agree there. Yankees high up there, mainly because I live like basically in their AAA team's backyard.
Nice.
Constantly seeing players go up, come down, and with the A's, their story, they're gonna get up there. After they move to Vegas, they're definitely gonna change.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for them. On the contrary to that, what's your favorite moment you've seen while at a game? Major league or minor league? This one's tough for me. Got to think about this one. I got it. Okay. Rail Riders are down. This was a couple weeks ago. Rail Riders are down 8-2, I think. Bottom of the 6th. They get 2 runs. Move to bottom of the 7th. They hit a grand slam, tying the game. And then after that, they hit a walk-off home run. It's like,
call it a comeback.
yeah, the comeback of all comebacks. Like, you couldn't have written that any better. As for Major League, I don't know. Probably my first Phillies game. That entire game, every moment of that was probably favorite Major League. And finding a ball outside of PNC Park. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
Tony, what about you?
Gonna go back to 2009, and like I said, they were closing down the Metrodome, so that was the first stadium that I remember going to as a kid. Had a lot of memories there. Ended up going to the scheduled last game, game 162 there. Somehow they snuck in and ended up tying with the Tigers at the top of the division, so there had to be a 163. Got tickets to game 163, and it was a classic. It was a 12-inning affair. Twins ended up walking off 6-5. There was still life left in that dome. It was just storybook ending for kind of a dump, but a lovable dump of a field.
It's like Tropicana right now. It's got a bit of a bad rap, but nothing beats it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with what I remember because you can probably go deeper into other ones. So number one, it has to be the no-hitter we were at.
Jealous.
Corbin Burns, Josh Hader combined no-hitter, magical in Cleveland. I have a couple honorable mentions though. First of all, 2018 NLDS Game 1, Mike Moustakas walked it off against the Rockies at Miller Park. I was there sitting in my favorite section in Miller Park, section 420. And that's one. And my third one actually might be, I think it is, the one that I was actually just at a couple weeks ago. Phillies Padres, the Sunday game, went 12 innings. Sadly, he wasn't there, but I was there with Padres fans. And let's just say that we were singing high hopes after the game.
I mean, you've been doing a rain delay. You went 12 innings.
Yeah, we had
you were there 8 hours.
I got there at noon and left at like 7:30. So yeah,
beautiful then. But the most memorable game we've been to, I think, even surpasses that no-hitter. The no-hitter is like one of those once-in-a-lifetime absolute luck moments. Tony, you're going to get to one of those. I guarantee it. Before you die, you will see a no-hitter in person. But one of them tops it. Winner take all, 2011 NLDS Game 5, Brewers Diamondbacks at the Beer Can at Miller Park. You were still not even 2 years old. I was able, and because he wasn't 2 years old yet, I was able to snag a single seat because he would be allowed in the park sitting in my lap. So for $25 a person, we saw a clinching Game 5. We saw a series winner take all. And I remember you were so exhausted by the time we got to the 10th inning and Nigel Morgan hits the game-winning single that sends the Brewers to the NLCS. Even if you would have had the memory of going to the game, you would not have remembered the game-winning hit because, like, at the moment that it happened, you fell asleep. He was gone.
I still think the no-hitter is just so rare, and we've seen so many walk-offs. I still have to say the no-hitter just because of how rare it is. Because you see playoff walk-offs. The first one that jumps to mind is Guardians Rays last year, for an example of you see them all the time in the playoffs.
But you also see a bunch of no-hitters too throughout the year.
That's true.
It's like we're comparing a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Exactly.
That good.
And going back to that, I think I have a non-Twins one. Like you said, Anthony, you had a few runners-up. My runner-up would be the 2020 World Series. That was my first time being able to go into a stadium again during that pandemic year, and ended up going to that wild 8-7 Rays walk-off with I'm blanking out on his name.
Brett Phillips.
Brett Phillips. There we go.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh man, baseball is fun.
Baseball is fun, yes.
It-
Baseball is very fun.
that was just a wild game, and yeah, there's something crazy about walk-offs, but I'm also with you, Anthony, that I think when I finally see that no-hitter, that's going to take the top spot.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen one no-hitter. It was like 2 years ago, and I don't even remember the whole thing. But yeah, it's definitely a special feeling for sure.
Yeah, and what's funny about the Corbin Burns no-hitter is I still get into debate with one of my friends here in Philly over how he thinks that the only reason Corbin Burns won the Cy Young that year was because of the no-hitter and Zach Wheeler should have won it. So, I'm just like, well, I mean, you didn't see a Zach Wheeler no-hitter.
But the other cool memory, though, from that no-hitter was that we purposely had bought seats by the Brewers bullpen so you could be close to it during the game.
Mm.
The last voice Josh Hader heard walking out before closing it out in the ninth inning was him.
Yeah, and I mean, Josh Hader has been my guy through and through. He is like, he's every time I hear the thoughts of the Brewers trading back for him at the deadline, I get so happy inside, because I just love Josh Hader. So to see him close out that game was great.
That's awesome. All right. I think this is our last one. Have I personally ever been injured while trying to catch a ball and or attempting to catch one? Me personally, no, but I do have an interesting story. 2021, regular seats down by the dugout, tried for a third out ball. It deflects off a railing and hits my dad in the face. He's fine now, though, but that was definitely interesting.
That'll leave a mark.
Yeah.
Hospitalization?
What's that?
Hospitalization?
No. All right. Any last thoughts, my friends?
Any injuries on your end, Tony?
Not while ball hawking, but I was riding my bike to Target Field right before a game because that's when I was living
I remember
more
this.
than a mile and a half away. And as I was parking my bike, it was on a very narrow strip of metal, and my bike tires were pretty bald. The bike went out from underneath me, tried to catch myself by going like that, bracing my fall, ended up breaking my left wrist, which is the glove hand. I didn't know that it was broken. I just thought it was like badly bruised somewhere, and ended up still trying to ball hawk. Got 10 that day somehow, but by the end of it, I couldn't have my glove on anymore. So luckily that happened in September. Ended up going right after that out to Play It Again Sports when I finally got the diagnosis that it was broken. They didn't have any baseball gloves for my right hand, but I found a goalie glove.
Oh, that's cool. I gotta try that one of these days. Either going to a Penguins game with the goalie glove on, or trying to go and ball hawk with it on. That'd be really fun.
Yes, do it.
Definitely gonna have to try that during the hockey season. But I remember this from the original Ballhawk Talk days. Which, by the way, before we log off here, shout out to my guys, Larry Larson and Cole Atkins. Thank you guys so much. Without you two letting me do this, and without even starting Ballhawk Talk, we wouldn't be here. So, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. And with that, Sorgies, Jay Anthony, Tony, thank you guys so much for joining. My apologies if I sounded a bit nervous. I hate public speech, but it's all good. We'll get used to it.
You did
You
great.
nailed it.
You're fine. You're awesome.
Thank you. So, like I said earlier, Sorgy Stories, baseball road tripper, Aiden Tempesta, logging off from Ballhawk Talk. Thank you guys, and see you in the next episode.
Peace.